basically telling him, okay, well, it's been 2 months. I told you he needs shoes and he need a jacket. It's starting to get cold. So can you meet me at Ross with our child so we can go half on this? So I have to initiate it, but I've told him several times, like, it's harder for me. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then great. Then we'll go forward. I didn't lose Mr. Fields. I know you stepped away. There you are, back in the screen. Mr. Valderas, then I'll call on you to make an opening statement after you announce yourself.
Yes, Your Honor. Edward Balderas for the Office of Attorney General. The Attorney General's office filed this suit affecting the parent-child relationship on September 30th, 2024. This is the second time the parties have been before this court. There is an acknowledgement of paternity on file for the child, Xavier Lamar Fields, and Xavier is currently 2 years old. So he recently turned 2, and after negotiating with the parties, our staff was not able to reach an agreement. However, I do believe that the parties have agreed on some of the issues and are primarily disputing the issue of child support and retroactive child support. And so with that in mind, Your Honor, I wanted to recite the terms I believe they do agree to, and then ask them individually if that is their agreement.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll just ask both parties to listen to these terms, and if I get them wrong, I will ask you what I got wrong individually. I believe that the parties have agreed that they shall both be appointed as joint managing conservators of that, and I believe the parties have also agreed that Akia Whitmire will be the primary managing conservator. I believe the parties have also agreed that the standard possession and access schedule shall be included in the order. However, for the court's information, the parties are doing something, their own visitation schedule that is in excess of the standard visitation schedule as currently drafted here. Additionally, I believe the parties have agreed that Mr. Darius Lamar Fields shall provide the healthcare coverage in the sense that he will be reimbursing the state for the cost of the government health plan at a monthly cost of $132 per month. And I believe that is everything they have agreed to. And so first I'll go ahead and call Mr.
Did you all talk about geographic restriction? I don't want that to be an issue at the end that I didn't hear about, but I didn't hear anything about it.
Your Honor, I don't believe that that was discussed.
Okay, we may need to discuss that as well, since there's a requirement in the law that I consider a geographic restriction on the child's residence so that mom, you don't pick up and leave and deprive dad of a relationship with the child. That's in the law now. It's been in the law for a while. And so I need to know if I'm doing it or not doing it, and you'll have an agreement, or if that's a contested issue, just so you know what I'm talking about. And then are there any non-disclosure issues, Mr. Valderas?
There may be some non-disclosure issues. However, I won't know until I talk to them on direct testimony. Then
we'll also take that up. And the last one is always court costs, but that'll be at the end if you want to talk about that or not. Okay. Okay, then Mr. Valderas is going to call you as witnesses. They get to decide who goes first. When one's testifying, the other one, please hold your peace. Don't interrupt. Don't give me an answer on your side right away. You're going to get your chance to talk. If you talk over each other, I have to stop you because I can't hear you both at the same time, and my recorder is going to be a mess if my recording, if you all are talking at the same time. And so again, don't interrupt unless it's a valid legal objection. Otherwise, wait your turn and write down things so you don't forget when it is your turn. Okay, Mr. Valderas.
Yes, Your Honor. State would like to call Mr. Darius Lamar Fields. Mr. Fields, with regard to the terms that I told the court that you're in agreement with Ms. Whitmire, did all of that sound correct, or is there anything that didn't sound correct to you?
That sounded correct.
Okay.
But I was intrigued with the geographical location thing that she just stated, because that's something that I was going to ask about.
Okay, and I want to
hold on, Mr. Fields. You're using your hand in front of your mouth, and I don't know if that's preventing the audio.
I think it's I don't have my. I tried to connect my headphone, but
That's fine. It's just if you get closer to the microphone, because I'm used to being at somewhere else with speakers and I can hear better that way. So right now I don't have the benefit of speakers, so I'll need you to speak just a little bit louder for me and try not to cover your mouth. Thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry about that.
That's
no,
okay,
I was
sir.
just asking about what you said about the geographical thing, because I was going to ask about that, like if we could get something in writing so that after this, she couldn't just up and leave with my son.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Fields. And so let's go ahead and talk about the geographic restriction. It sounds from talking to you here that you would request that Ms. Whitmire have the power to determine the residency of the child, but as long as that's within the current county she lives in, or typically it would be within a contiguous county, so a county that borders the county she lives in. Are you requesting that restriction be put in place?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. I'm going to pause for now, and I'd like to call Ms. Whitmire and ask her the same questions I asked Mr. Fields. And so the state will call Ms. Akia Whitmire. Ms. Whitmire, first of all, those terms that I told the court that I believe was your agreement with Mr. Fields, did those terms sound correct to you, or is there anything that didn't sound right?
They sound correct, yes, sir.
Okay, and so I want to bring up the issue of the geographic restriction, which is what I was talking has been mentioned so far here. With regard to the geographic restriction, let me ask you this: what county? I don't want to know the address, but what county are you currently residing in?
I think this is Comal.
Comal?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you plan to stay? How long have you lived in Comal County?
Well, I've been here 4 years, going on 5 years with my child's father.
Do you have any plans to leave Comal County in the foreseeable future?
No, sir.
If the court were to impose a restriction to say that you have custody of Xavier, but only as long as you live in Comal County or one of the counties that borders Comal County, so that would be Guadalupe County, that would be Hays County, that would be Bexar County, and probably Kendall County. I'm not sure how the map works, but would be in those bordering counties to Comal County. Would that be okay with you?
That's perfectly fine. I'm not trying to take my child away from his father. That's not my option that I want to do.
Okay. Okay, ma'am. And so, and just for clarification, only child, or do you have any other children?
My only child.
Okay. Okay. Alrighty. Thank you, Ms. Whitmire. I'll pass the witness, but I will have some more questions for you in a few minutes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay. So let's go ahead and I'll continue with Ms. Whitmire here. Ms. Whitmire, I think the issues that are really necessary for the court to decide is the issue of child support and retroactive child support. So I want to ask you a bit about the visitation schedule that the two of you currently have with Xavier. And so, is it true that Mr. Fields currently has visits every week?
He has Monday, Sunday, Monday, and every other Saturday and Thursdays. And I have him Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and he picks him up on Sunday.
How long has that been the case?
It's been the case for almost a year since I moved out of the apartment that we shared.
Okay. And how long has that been?
Almost a year in March.
Okay. And so tell it to me again, because I guess I got a little bit confused. He sees, okay, every week he sees the child. Is that right?
Correct.
And on what days again was that?
He has him Monday, Thursday, every other Saturday, and Sunday.
And then
I'm not sure if every other Saturday and every other Sunday, or Every other
So
Saturday?
every other Saturday. So this Saturday would be my Saturday, and then the next Saturday he'll come and pick him up around latest 9 o'clock.
So you alternate the Saturdays, but all the other days are set in stone for you or him?
Yes, because he works, and I want to accommodate him for his days that he do have off, so he will be able to have his son either the full day or after school that day.
So if I heard you right, it's, let me try again. He picks up the child from you on Sunday. He has Sunday, Monday, every Thursday or every other Thursday?
Every Thursday.
Every Thursday, and then it's
Yeah.
only every other Saturday.
Yes, ma'am.
And then you have Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and every other Saturday? Is that how?
Correct. Correct.
And you trade the child on Sunday? What time of the day on Sunday?
Latest 9 a.m.
So he gets most of the day on Sunday.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I haven't done the math or trying to think of it in my head or which hours of the days you switch, all that. Do you consider it pretty 50-50 or is it a little more on one side or the other?
I would consider it 50-50 for us. Yes, for keeping the child. He does do his part on that end.
Okay, and that helps you, and obviously that works right now with his schedule.
Yes, so he has daycare and school and everything like that. So that's basically where I'll drop off and pick up goes, except for on the weekend. He does pick him up Saturday night at my house.
And so you're thinking this is working, you want to continue this indefinitely till the child's 18, or are
Yes.
y'all talking about other things?
I mean, well, yes, right now, if that's it's perfectly fine for me. But like if he, changes his job, want to change schedule, we can, discuss that between each other. But he's doing very well on that.
So, but you'd still want to let him have more than just every other weekend, like the standard visits?
Yeah, if he wants, if he wants to get him, all he
Yeah.
does is have to text me, or if I want to get him, or if he need me to get him, we just discuss that between ourselves, and I have no issue with that.
Okay, and just so y'all are aware, and I'm sorry I took this away from you, Mr. Balderas, I just want to make sure I totally understand it because I was confused too, is that, the visitation part of the order is the only part of the order that says it starts with, failing mutual agreement, this is what it shall be. So it does have the standard visits, is what I understood, even if you're not following it, so that if nothing else, if you have disagreements down the road because of schools or extracurriculars or y'all's lives have changed or whatever, he still has something in place. He doesn't have nothing and you don't have to argue about it. It's there and it's quite a bit, but it's not a 50-50 split. So I guess right now you are saying you think you can continue a 50-50 split, but just as you go along and agree with it, you're allowed to do that. And that's what I'm trying to make a point of, that the order lets you fluctuate a little bit, tweak it, change the days, change the hours, change the percentages if you want. But if you can't agree, then just so you're aware, Mr. Fields, you're entitled to no less than what the law gives you as standard visitation. It's nowhere near a 50-50 split. It's closer than it's ever been, but it's not 50-50. You understand that, Mr. Fields?
Yes, Your Honor.
You understand that, Ms. Whitmire?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then I think I got it. And okay, that might impact the child support though, Mr. Balderas, but that's why I wanted to make sure. Okay, then if you want to go forward, Mr. Balderas.
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Whitmire. And so I believe that that you and Mr. Fields are disputing is if this is the way that the visits are going, the question is whether child support should be ordered or not. Is that right?
With him on his end, he doesn't agree because he thinks he financially helps me and he does not.
Okay. Do you believe that he should be ordered to pay child support, that Mr. Fields should be ordered to pay child support?
I do, yes.
Okay.
Need a little bit of assistance with my child.
When you were talking to a member of our staff earlier, we had gone ahead and calculated what child support should be. And that number that we calculated, and I just want to make sure so that I don't have it wrong here, but I'm gonna um, do one calculation really quick here. Yes, it's $478 per month. Is that how much you want the court to order Mr. Fields to pay in child support?
I mean, I don't, I feel like that is a lot for him. I mean, if he can agree to give me at least a certain amount of money to help me with providing clothes and things like that, so I don't have to ask him or go and basically not force him, but basically press the situation that my child needs clothes or our child needs shoes, our child needs a jacket. Like I shouldn't have to do that.
Okay, all right. Well, let me just ask you here, while we're on the topic of this number here, what do you believe child support should be if it's not 478?
And while she's thinking,
say-
Mr. Valderas, for my information, 478, it would be a guideline amount without credit for anything.
That's 20% with no for on adjusted net income, Your Honor.
And
So-
that's no, there's no other children involved on, Mr. Fields has no other children.
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
I would say half is fine. I mean, it does cost a lot to get my child clothes and shoes. I just think, you know, that amount is a lot because I wouldn't need that much to pay for his clothes and shoes. But I'm the provider of that and have been since he's been born. So I've been struggling with making sure he has enough winter clothes because I moved out on my own. I'm fresh in Texas, so it's hard for me, and I've explained that a lot to Mr. Fields, but it I don't know what else to do on that end to try and receive help for financially for him, like clothes, shoes, you know, supplies, things that he need for himself.
Okay. And there's also the issue of the retroactive child support. Do you believe that Mr. Fields should pay a retroactive child support amount to you for back child support?
I do.
Okay. And the number, and when you were talking to one of our staff earlier, I believe the number of months you were requesting retroactive child support was 10 months. Is that correct?
Yes, because I've been on my own since March of 2024.
Okay. And so the state had calculated a retroactive child support amount of for 10 months of $4,780. Do you believe that that's how much Mr. Fields should be ordered to pay in back child support? Or is there a different amount that you think you would be okay with for the retroactive amount of child support?
Well, I feel like that's fine because I've been doing it for 2 years on my own financially for him.
Okay.
So just for that to cover the 10 months, that's actually covering the 2 years that I've been doing it on my own.
Okay.
His bed, his clothes, his shoes, everything has been coming out of my pocket except for holidays when he gets gifts and things like that.
Okay. And so I've been asking you kind of what it is that you want, you know, in this case, because, you know, just to get your position and what the judge can consider that you're seeking, but it doesn't necessarily mean that's what the order is going to be. So I want to ask you some more questions here. You said from hearing you here, it sounds like you have paid for the clothing and shoes, right?
Clothes, shoes, diapers, wipes. The first 2 months of him being in daycare was me. When the first 2.5 months, because I would say a month and a half. I wouldn't say 2.5. A month and a half with me full time every day because he didn't have a bed because I moved out. I moved out of an apartment with my name still being on the lease up until tomorrow because I moved out because the situation that we had going on with each other.
Okay.
But physically, he's there as a father. He's a great father. I don't take that away from him. But financially, I've been doing it on my own since I found out I was pregnant.
And so, are you saying that Mr. Fields has not helped you financially with any of these purchases for?
He's helped me with, we did half and half on the car seat and the stroller. And I would say 2 times we paid half and half on me basically telling him, okay, well, it's been 2 months. I told you he needs shoes and he need a jacket. It's starting to get cold. So can you meet me at Ross with our child so we can go half on this? So I have to initiate it, but I've told him several times, like, it's harder for me because I'm in my own place now. I just got a car within the year. I'm a newly driver, so it's like you don't have a car note. I have a car note. Like, I have stuff that you don't have, so it's a lot harder for me. So that's why I do try to go to his dad and say, well, hey, he needs a jacket. Hey, his shoes don't fit. He needs some shoes. And it's not initiated on his end unless I say something about it.
So do you believe that if you had not bought the shoes and the clothes and for Xavier at all, then Mr. Fields would not have bought any of that either?
No, he thinks because back in the olden days, the child didn't need these things. So why does he need it?
Okay. And from talking to you here and based on kind of what y'all both said or with regard to how y'all do things now, is it fair to say that y'all are co-parenting okay in terms of making the exchanges and working out this visitation schedule that y'all have?
Of course, yeah. He's very good on that. He does well on that.
But between you two as parents, is it also fair to say that there's a history of just that there's a bad history between y'all?
Yes.
Okay, and does that include instances where there's been violence?
Yes.
Okay. Has Mr. Fields been arrested for, or have you been arrested for any assaults amongst yourselves?
I haven't. He has.
And when did that happen?
Last year on my birthday.
And when is that?
March 7th of 2023.
Okay. And so that sounds like it's almost 2 years ago.
Yes.
And was he charged with that? Did he have a court case? Do you know?
Yes, he's on probation for it.
Okay. Do you have any concerns about harm coming to Mr. Fields?
No.
Okay. Does Mr. Fields know where you live currently?
Yes.
Does that cause you any problems like harassment, abuse, or harm?
No.
If your address was in the court order and Mr. Fields would have a copy of that, just like you, would that be a problem for you?
No.
Is there any third party that you wouldn't want having your address? And, I don't know if they would, are you being stalked by anybody?
No.
Okay. All right. Now, when it comes to y'all split here of like basically half and half, this 50-50 kind of split of possession, how does that work? Do you send all his clothes and everything he needs with Mr. Fields, or does Mr. Fields just pick them up and he has stuff for him at his own residence?
Well, yeah, he has stuff for him at his own residence, but majority of that is because I bought it. He may have provided more stuff now, within the last month for him. I've seen maybe 2 or maybe 3 newer outfits that I didn't buy, but majority of the stuff that we've always shared, I bought, I provided.
And how much do you think you've spent on all of this?
I have receipts. Do you want me to do the math?
Well, I'd like you to add it up, but not right now. So
I wish you had already done it in preparation, but yeah, we don't have time to do. I don't know how many receipts you would have and how long it would take, but no, I don't have the time to do that in court.
Do you have a ballpark number Ms. Whitmire?
I do not know, sir.
Okay. All right. And so just a couple more questions here. When you your possession for your half of the week, your days of the week, does he give you any financial assistance, Mr. Fields?
No,
And when he has for his days of the week, do you give him any financial assistance?
no,
Does he ask you for any?
no.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Ms. Whitmire. I'll go ahead and pass the witness.
Okay, go ahead and call Mr. Fields.
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor. State will call Mr. Darius Fields. Mr. Fields.
Yes, sir.
With regard to the days of the week that you have you, as Ms. Whitmire described it, is that correct?
Yes, sir. So I have them every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday. The Saturdays are alternating.
Okay. And I think she said that was because of your work schedule and what y'all had to work around.
Correct. So I work Saturday as well. That's the reason that I get them at night, because I don't usually get off till about 7, 8 o'clock. So.
Do you also agree that this kind of schedule has worked well for you and Ms. Whitmire? And
Yes, sir. I mean, literally every day that I'm not at work, I have my son.
okay.
I try to have him as much as possible.
Okay. And so, we from talking to y'all, it sounds like it is basically pretty close to a 50-50 split of possession. I mean, there might be some variance here and there, but because of that fact, are you asking that the court not set child support in this case, or do you believe that it should be a different amount than the $478 that the state's found?
Well, I would be in agreement to, pay the state back the $132 for healthcare. But everything else, anything besides that, absolutely not. I believe, I don't want anybody to get upset, but I'm a firm believer, and I have witnesses as well, that what you guys just heard is false. You got to keep in mind, I don't visit my child. I have my child custody of him on those days. So I have him 50% of the time. So I have to provide diapers, food, and all that stuff as well. I have clothes. Me only spending money on a couple clothing items is absolutely false. I have tubs of clothes for him over here that were purchased by me. On top of that, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, I'm the parenthood is 50-50. So any other saying that, oh, well, you don't have a car payment and I have a car payment, that's your decision as an adult. That shouldn't become my responsibility. My responsibility is my child, and I provide for him in every way I can. There's not one time she can tell you that she's asked me for any behavior and I said no, or I said I didn't have it right now. Every time I say, yes, we'll take care of it. It's taken care of. Literally every time. Never give her no fight, pushback, nothing like that. And actually, sometimes when she needs to borrow money and she's a little behind on paying me back, I might ask her about it, like, hey, are you going to pay me back soon or anything like that? But I never press her on it. I even say, hey, if you don't got it right now, I don't want you guys to starve. If you got to wait till you get paid again to pay me back, that's fine. So
Which is only for his school.
The financial responsibility of being a parent is as 50-50 as it gets. I have them 50% of the time and I take care of my child, and vice versa.
And Mr. Fields, how long has that been the case?
That's been the case since she left, since we broke up and she moved out. Now, as far as her saying she had...
Hold on a second. When was that, when she broke up and moved out?
Well, I left her, actually. But that was about a year ago. And it wasn't 2 months that she had them full time. It was literally like 3 weeks because as soon as they moved out, I had ordered a new mattress. And I was just waiting for it to get here.
Ms. Whitmire, Mr. Fields didn't interrupt you. Ma'am, please wait until we recall you, and so you can respond to whatever his testimony is, okay? Mr. Fields,
yes, sir.
When it comes to when y'all split up, but
yes,
after y'all split, it sounds like y'all came to a mutual agreement pretty quickly. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Well, originally, I was just getting him, when we first split up, for like maybe the first 3 months, I was getting him Sunday, Monday, and Thursday. And she was saying she needs more time to herself or whatever. So I told her, because I work Saturdays, I said, well, I could start picking them up on Saturdays when I get off work. And so we did that for about 2 weeks, and then I asked her, well, can we alternate the Saturdays, because I literally don't have a day off. Even now, I don't have a day off. My days off are Sunday and Thursday, but I have him. You know what I mean? And Thursday I have him. So I asked her if we could alternate the Saturdays. So when I get off work Saturday, every other Saturday I can just sleep for a little bit. And she said she was fine with that.
Okay. And so
That's been the schedule since the beginning, pretty much.
How much do you believe you've spent on stuff?
I mean, if I had to give a guesstimation, I'd, a couple thousand, just your regular maintenance,
Okay.
as far as in, diapers, food, clothes, shoes.
Do you live by yourself, or do you live with anybody, family, or
I live by
roommates?
myself.
Okay. So is he only with you, or do you take him anywhere to anywhere else, or is he primarily with you?
To my mother's house? She lives about 10 minutes away, so to his grandma's.
Okay. Okay. And is that where y'all spend the night, or do you
No, we just go over there, have lunch, hang out, and then we come back home. And that's not a weekly basis. It's just whenever my mother's free and we want to hang out.
Okay. So if I understand you correctly, then you're asking the court to set child support at $0 per month. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And also you're asking that the court not assess any back child support judgment against you.
Yes, sir. I would be willing to pay you said the 132 for the healthcare. That makes sense in my eyes, but anything else I think is excessive.
Okay. I'll go ahead and pass the witness.
Well, that's why you end up in court. And I want you to know that y'all are doing great. Y'all should need to look at what you do agree on, not what you don't agree on. And I don't want you to walk out mad at each other more than when you walked into court. I don't want to make this worse for you. However, I have to do my job. I have to think about things. I have to figure it out, and I'll do that at the end here. But I just want you to hear from me that I don't get a lot of people that come in here with these 50-50 agreements and that are actually working and with a very young child. So I'm impressed by that. And I would encourage that and ask you to continue that and to keep the bad vibes away, because it only harms your child. It doesn't help you all in the relationship. It doesn't help the child either. But on the math, on the finances, which is always a point of contention, I hear this more often than you'd think. What I look at in these cases is like, okay, this is 50-50. You take care of the child for your days and I take care of the child for my days. So it should be 50-50. Well, that's the beginning point. That's not the ending point. What I also look at is other things, who does more things in terms of buying things and the things the child needs, or do you each buy this two things of each, so in one the child has it at each house, you don't share it, those kinds of things, how much clothes wear, all that stuff. But I also look mainly at, and I haven't heard anything yet on this issue, Mr. Balderas, does one parent make more income than the other? Is there an income disparity? Did you hear that part, Mr. Fields? I don't know what you went.
Yes, ma'am. My iPad was dying. So.
That if there's an income disparity and one of you has a higher life or income and can provide more and do more, that might be helpful to help the one that has less. So I haven't heard that yet. I'm going to ask Mr. Balderas to ask you that.
Okay.
And then I'll get to decide more, or I have more questions for you.
Okay, yes, Your Honor. Mr. Fields, when we did a calculation for child support, we found that your gross monthly income, this is before taxes are taken out, is $2,934.25 per month. Does that sound about correct to you?
Yeah, roughly. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and take a pause here, and I'd like to call Ms. Whitmire again. Ms. Whitmire, are you currently working?
Yes, I am.
And do you work full-time or part-time?
Full-time.
And how much do you earn per hour?
$18.50 an hour.
$18.50? Okay. Do you ever do any overtime?
No, we're not allowed.
Okay. And I believe I think I asked you before, but child, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so if I take $18.50 an hour and I multiply it times 40 hours a week, that brings me to $740 per week times 52 weeks in a year. That would give me $38,480 in 1 year. If I divide that by 12 months, that comes out to $3,206.66 in gross income. That's before taxes are taken out. Does that sound about correct to you, Ms. Whitmire?
Mm. I think so. I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, if you are making 1850, that's what it comes out to when you extrapolate it out for an annual income. How long have you been working at your current job?
Almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years. Okay. Did you start out at 1850 an hour, or did you start a little lower?
I started out at 1850, and then we have a raise come in during the summertime if approved.
Okay. All right. And so if it's 1850 an hour, then that would indicate that you make just a little bit more than Mr. Fields a month. But it's very close. So I would say it's almost the same income.
I have insurance as well, so they take out all of that on my check as well. So I don't receive that whole thing.
Sure, I understand. It's gross income. It's not net income. But you did bring up something here. Are you covering the child on your insurance plan through work?
No, I'm not.
Okay, just your own insurance.
Yes.
I gotcha. Okay, all righty. Thank you, Ms. Whitmire. I'll pass the witness.
What kind of work do you do, Ms. Whitmire?
I work as customer service for HD Supply.
Okay. You've been doing that for 2 years, you said?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you know you made a little more, slightly more than he did?
No.
Nope. I don't know what his bills are. That really doesn't matter. Even if you're living with parents and don't have rent, or you have a mortgage that's a big house.
$20 an hour. So
Okay, I didn't hear a thing you said because you were talking over me, but go ahead and say it again.
I said, sorry, last I heard he was making $21 an hour, not less than $18.50 an hour.
Okay, did you get your W-2 yet for last year? Have you looked at that? And can you provide that right now? Is it handy to you?
Me?
Yeah, I'm still talking to you. Mhm.
I have it. It's online.
Okay, you want to look at it because that might be the best evidence you have instead of our math based on your information.
Oh no, I'm not saying for me. I'm saying that may be correct for me, yes, but for him, he made more than me. He was making $21 an hour before I left.
No, I heard that, but you can't prove his income because you don't have his W-2. I'm wondering if you can prove your W-2 if we got the math right or not.
Can I look?
Yeah, just try not to leave the Zoom.
Oh, well.
Don't exit. You can do multiple things on a screen usually without exiting, but sometimes people push buttons and you leave. I need you back.
Yeah, well, I'm on my phone, so I can't do like two things at once. It's going to take me off this screen to put me on another screen.
Okay. Okay, so you don't have any help from anybody? You live alone, you said?
I'm not from Texas. I don't have any other assistance, no family members, nothing. I'm here by myself, just me and my son.
Have you actually gone into his house or wherever and seen the child's closet and know that you keep more clothes than he does or anything like that?
We used to live together. So that apartment, I was the lease holder up until tomorrow that I'm signing this lease off over to him. So I was the lease holder on that apartment. I left because of the situation of what was going on between us. It wasn't healthy. So I decided to pay
any of the rent after you moved out.
I left before the next month of rent.
Okay, so you haven't had to pay rent because of the lease being in your name over where he lives, correct?
Yeah, he pays it. But
Yeah.
I've been trying for the last year to get my name off that lease.
Okay, but again, it hasn't cost you dollars and cents to have your name on the lease. He's taken it over since since y'all separated.
Correct.
Okay. Well, I heard you had a car and he didn't have a car payment, but does he have a car too, or you know anything about that?
He has two cars.
Okay. And but my question was, if you lived there, I assume you've been back there, or maybe you haven't, you don't actually.
I have not been in his house since I left that house. I have not
I'm trying to
entered
figure
his house.
why, I've heard two different things. One is that you provide more of the clothes and stuff than he does, and I'm hearing him say, well, no, I have stuff over here too. So I'm just wondering if you've been over there and do you have a clue what he has versus what you have?
I haven't been over there, but if my son is wearing the same clothes that I put him in the Sunday and coming back with the same clothes that I put him in, I would think my child doesn't have clothes there. If I have to give him his covers every day so he can go with school every Sunday,
This what?
his covers, so we have to provide a cover for school for him. And
What's a cover? Are you talking about blanket or?
Yeah, a blanket.
Okay.
I provide that for him each time. So when he does leave my house, when he picks him up, he does leave with that. And if he does need clothes for the school, I provide those as well once asked. So
just because the child's coming and going in the same clothes, you're not saying he doesn't put other clothes on him and that's all he has. Maybe he's just returning the clothes you sent. Did that not make sense? Or you?
No, it doesn't make sense. I wouldn't want my child, he wouldn't want his child in the same clothes going to him. Because if that's the case, I'll put on the same outfit every day so we wouldn't have to share. I can give him his 2 outfits that I have at my house, and can I receive all of my things from his house that I've been trying to receive back for months now? My playpen, his bassinet, and he has several jackets over there that belongs to me, clothes that I know that belongs to me. So can I receive those back and we just do half and half and cut it here? Or like, because I know for a fact, majority of the clothes that I bought, they're not at my house. And they're not at anybody else's house but me and his dad's.
Would they still even fit? Because kids grow pretty quick, so
That's another
are you
thing.
asking for clothes back that aren't going to fit your child, or do you have a clue?
No, most of the clothes that go back and forth are the ones that fit on him. All of the clothes that he can't fit anymore, I've been already packed those away that I've bought.
So except for the clothes, let's leave that alone because I don't know whether they'd fit the child or not. But the playpen and the bassinet, is there any other things at his house that you have?
My clothes, my belongings, I've been asking for a month.
Okay, well, I'm not a property division judge. That's on you all. If you have to sue each other in justice of the peace court or something, that's something else. But and I assume y'all get along well enough to share a child. I can't believe you're fighting about playpens and clothes. So,
Yep.
okay, let you interrupt, Mr. Fields. What do you have to say that's so
I'm sorry, I
important?
don't mean to interrupt you, Your Honor, but
Well, yeah, you did because you just did. So go ahead.
I apologize, Your Honor. I have 2 tubs of clothes for him that was not provided by Mrs. Whitmire. Also, the things that she's speaking of that she has over here, and I have this in via text message too. I've never once denied her coming to get that stuff. Like, you can come get your stuff whenever you want. I've never once told her you can't come here and get what you feel like you want.
You said on your time, Darius, and you know that.
No, I'm free.
You was free that day.
Hold on. I'm sure you don't want to walk in on him because that's not right. It's just like you wouldn't want him walking in on you without having arranged it.
I just wanted to be respectful and ask him, can I get my things? This is the day that he was already coming to get his child. So I'm like, you're off. Can I just get the rest of my things at your house? Well, on my time. When I'm
What did he say?
On his time.
And did you figure out what that was and work it out? Put it on the calendar?
I asked him. He said on his time. I've been waiting for his time.
Okay, Mr. Fields, why do you want her stuff there? Why haven't you already arranged a time that's convenient for you?
She literally asked one time, Your Honor, and this was maybe 6 months ago. And since then, it hasn't been a pressing issue. But I have text between her and I have text also with my mother that I can provide to the court saying that I'm not holding her items back. She can come get them at any time she wants.
I don't want to waste my time telling y'all figure it out.
Exactly.
I can fix that for you. Figure the hell out. You figured out how to share a child. You can't figure out how to return items. Come on, please, Mr. Fields. Or do you have a relationship with his mother, the child's grandmother?
His mother told me to call the police on him to get my things. And I have that in text message.
Well, that sounds like a practical grandma. So, Mr. Fields, why don't you pack it up, send it to your mom's house, take it to your mom's house, and you pick it up from her? Why can't you figure something else out of it? It's gonna be so hard to come to each other's homes.
It's on his time, he said. So I've just been waiting for my things.
Well, waiting doesn't help either. You also need to be proactive without being aggressive. I mean, I don't know what the deal is. Y'all have it so good. I don't want to mess it up. However, y'all are now bringing up the little details of life that nobody's ever going to be on the same page. I can't fix everything. I cannot. This is not what this court is. If you want a divorce court, you're not married. You want a property division court, go sue each other. Or just get the thing done. Why would you want her stuff there sitting there cluttering your place or taking up space, mister? That's a rhetorical question. I'm just trying to make you figure out how to get it over there without it being a court order, because I can't give you one on that. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you don't think you owe her anything for the stuff she's provided for the child, including white? Are you using the playpen and the bassinet or whatever, Mr. Fields?
No, Your Honor. It literally is over there. It just holds all his toys in there. That's it.
But you're using it. Why don't for the toy pen or whatever? Why don't you?
He doesn't go in there, Your Honor. So if she wants it back, she can have it back. I will just get shelving for his toys. I mean,
You have a car seat that you bought for your car? Well, you don't have a car. You have two cars. Is that true?
I have two cars. Yes, Your Honor.
And what kind of cars are they?
I have an Infiniti and a Genesis.
How old are they?
The Infiniti is like a 07, 08, and my Genesis is like a 2013.
2015, and you don't owe any payments on it?
No, they're both paid off, Your Honor.
And they both work?
The Genesis the Infiniti needs a little work. I haven't ran it in about 2 years, but the last time I was in it, yes, it did run. It did run and drive.
How long has it been that you've run it?
I'm sorry?
You said you haven't run it how many, whatever, I didn't hear that.
About maybe 3 years. I haven't ran the Infiniti. It's just been sitting there.
3 years, is car sitting there, nobody's complaining?
Well, no, because I paid for my spots at my apartment. So
okay. And the Genesis is what you use for daily living?
It's a 2-door, so with the kid and the car seat and all that, it was just easier to use my sedan, so I just haven't used it.
So you use the Genesis to get around and to transport the child? You have your own car seat in there?
Yes, Your Honor.
You don't have to share that?
No, Your Honor.
And you have to pay insurance on the car, I assume? You got all the regular bills?
I pay insurance on both cars currently, yes, Your Honor.
But you don't think you owe anything for any of the things she's done with or without you?
No, Your Honor. I mean, we do just as much for our child.
Okay. Anything else you want to say, Mr. Fields?
No, I mean, Godspeed. I don't know.
Well, tell me what you do for a living.
Right now, I drive for a third-party company called Reliance LLC. I'm currently trying to get my benefits from the VA, so hopefully I can get that squared away within the next year or two. And I plan to put Xavier on that healthcare, my military benefit healthcare.
So what do you do for Reliance LLC?
I drive, deliver.
Do you dispute that she makes slightly more than you or not?
I think we probably make around the same amount.
And how much do you make an hour?
$19.50.
$19.50 an hour?
Yes, Your Honor.
She said she makes $18.50 an hour. She said you made $21 an hour.
I mean, I can pull up a pay stub if you guys need to see that.
Do you have your W-2 for last year?
Yes, Your Honor. I have it right here.
Can you pull it out and tell me or show it on your video screen if you can on the cameras? I can see what year it is. Put it lower a little bit. Okay, it says 2024 W-2.
Yes,
Do you see that, Ms. Whitmire? And
Yes,
Mr. Valdez, there's no dispute. And can I see your name on it? Darius Fields, okay, you can remove it. And now read off what the wages, compensation, whatever you have
for the total year?
Taxes.
All right, so for the total year, it was $3,700, $47.80.
3,700? 37,000 and what?
37,047 and 80 cents.
Okay, that's a little more than the state calculated because the numbers on the gross that they brought in was 35,000. That says you made 37. And mom makes well, we didn't guess at yours, we did some math on yours, but it could be wrong too, Miss Whitmire. You don't know what yours is. And I probably need to wrap up pretty quick. I have another hearing waiting on me. That's what happens with volume business courts. Are you looking for your W-2, Miss Whitmire, or what?
I am, yes, ma'am.
Is there any chance you're gonna find it?
I might not, because I have all of them mailed to me, and then I have them online as well. Two seconds. I think I know where it's at.
So why would you think he makes 21 an hour if he says it's 1950? Oh, she walked away.
Sorry about that.
Did you find anything or are you giving up?
I didn't. I found my older one from when I worked at my older job before HD Supply.
Okay, he says he earns 1950 an hour. Why would you say it's 21?
Because that's what I was told.
Is it possible he told you wrong, or if he has proof that it's less than that? Or I don't even know. I haven't done the reverse math on his annual income, but in any case, 37 is closer to yours, 38, than the original 35,000 that we calculated for him. So let's say you're on equal footing on the income, ma'am. So why do you think if you split the kid 50-50 that you really should be entitled to any kind of child support?
Because I've done more in the past 2 years than he can say he has done.
What about now that you're doing the halftime and you're responsible for that? At this point forward, even if I give you some back pay, what about current pay? Why are you entitled to that?
Because he doesn't financially help. He's not financially there for his child for materialistic things. The things that
He has to feed the child, put a roof over the child's head, and pay and put clothes on his back. You're saying he does none of that? It should go to you.
I don't know what he does at his house. I haven't been to his house, so I don't know what he does at his house. He's a good father, but financially wise, I need help and assistance with helping my child. Because if it was the case we were going half on clothes and things like that, it'll be a lot better for me. And I've told him that through text message. Could you help? Could we go half on things, because we're already sharing? You already sharing my clothes. I'm not sharing your clothes, but you're sharing my clothes with yourself. So can we go half on things? He needs a jacket. He needs shoes. Can we go half on these things? As far as helping him, like the daycare as well. I was providing the extra clothes, the extra diapers, the extra wipes.
Who pays the daycare? Do y'all split that?
We split it, yes.
Okay. Are there any other bills that y'all have for the child that you split?
No. Nothing else. He does school. He's in therapy as well. And the reason why he's in therapy, because he has a little bit of behavioral issues, but he's under me as well for that therapy, which I have proof for that here. And because I don't make a lot, and he's only under my name, I don't have to pay for that. But if I made as much as y'all saying that I made, I would be having to pay for his therapy as well.
Is that something you brought up with Mr. Fields and you shared that bill or not?
Well, it's not a bill, because I don't make as much as I reached the average of not having to pay for therapy. So he's in that as well while he's in school.
Well, again, I know it takes money to raise a child. There's no question about that. But he says he makes about the same as you or even slightly less, and that he provides for the child. So why would he have to pay your bills or your choices or those kinds of things?
I'm not asking him to pay for my bills. I'm not asking him to pay for my choices. I'm asking him to help provide clothes and shoes for his child. because I haven't seen it.
Well, here's he said, she said, and I guess I have to decide it one way or another, that if he's providing enough or not providing enough. Anything else you want to say, Ms. Whitmire?
No, ma'am.
Okay. State, did you cover all the issues on everything else? Let's see.
I don't think we've discussed court costs, Your Honor, but other than that, I think.
Well, that's the least of the problems here. Okay, then, Mr. Valdez, so you want to make any other arguments or any other evidence or before your closing argument?
No other evidence, Your Honor. I guess just to reiterate, I believe that the parties, the state would ask that the parties' agreement be entered with the court and be ordered. And again, that is joint managing conservatorship with Ms. Whitmire as the primary managing conservator, with the geographic restriction to Comal County and any contiguous counties. That the standard possession and access schedule be also included, just in case parties are not in agreement with their visitation schedule. The issue of medical support, Your Honor, the state's asking that medical support be set at $132 per month. Yes, Your Honor, based on the government health plan, and that Mr. Fields be ordered to pay that on a monthly basis beginning next month, beginning February 1st, 2025. On the issue of current child support, well, I think, Your Honor, I mean, our general policy at the OAG is to recommend guideline child support in this case, or in all of our cases. But I mean, I think consistent with the family code, there is reason to deviate from the guidelines. So the state's definitely leaves it at the discretion of the court, Your Honor, and at your determination. Based on the testimony of both parties, the state also does not have a recommendation on the retroactive child support. I believe there is evidence on both sides that there has been actual support given by Mr. Fields and by Ms. Whitmire since the child has been born. Although I understand that Ms. Whitmire is asking for a retroactive child support amount for 10 months of $4,700. And
actually, she said she'd be okay with half of that, but that's still $2,390.
Okay, well, I believe that, and I maybe I misheard, Your Honor, but I believe she said she would be okay with half of the monthly child support amount, but she wanted the full retroactive child support amount as calculated. But I'll defer to the court, Your Honor, if you heard differently.
No, I'll defer to Ms. Whitmire. What did you say you were asking for in terms of child support and back child support, Ms. Whitmire? Let me hear from you.
I said back child support full and then half on the monthly.
So you think he owes you $4,780 of that stuff you did that he didn't help at all with?
Yep, within the 2 years. Yes, ma'am.
Even though he had the child 50-50 since almost the beginning?
He didn't have the child 50-50 from the beginning. I breastfed my son. I worked from home when I had him. I had him 24/7.
I think you said about a month and a half after you separated that you started the split schedule.
That's a year. He's 2 years old, so he was a year old after I left.
I'm not giving you money for when y'all were together. It happens after you separate. I don't make up for whatever y'all did as a couple. That's not my job. It's when you separate who did what. That's what I'm talking about. So whereas only 10 months of the separation, and you're saying he did nothing at that point, or he had 50-50 at some point within the 10 months and longer than just now, right?
Correct.
Okay, so given that, how much of the 10 months do you think he owes you for? At what point did he get the 50-50 within the separation, right after the separation?
I don't even want to fight this no more.
Okay, anything else you want to say in a closing argument, Mr. Fields?
No, Your Honor. I did pull up current pay stub. My screen might be a little too bright, but it shows that I make $1,950.
And,
on that
I
top
see
line.
that 1950 for regular, although
And
you do
then,
have overtime, but that was included in your,
yes, ma'am, but it's only 0.42 hours for the overtime. So I
and
don't
does
get
it
much
say year to
overtime.
date overtime? What?
Not even a full day. That's 0.4. That's like 42 minutes of overtime. So, in a whole 2 week period. So,
Well, in any case, whatever it is, it says 1950, but you did, show me a W-2 that include all the wages and would have included any overtime, so that would have been averaged in.
correct.
Okay, you heard what she said, and she seems a little, I'm not gonna say that, um, I'm trying to figure out the right diplomatic word, but she seems stressed to me that she needs some help, and you don't see that at all, Mr. Fields, and you don't think you could step up and do something a little more?
I've offered her. I said if it would make it easier on you, just give me full custody. I
I
won't keep
don't
it.
want you. You gonna try and take
Okay,
my
stop
child, bro.
right
That's
now,
all you
Miss
want to do.
Whitmire. I didn't talk to you right now. He's not interrupting you. You're interrupting him. Nobody's gonna change the custody schedule at this point. You already walked in here with the agreement. I'm gonna accept that.
Correct.
That's fine. But
Correct.
that's not an answer. Oh,
No,
I'll
no,
take over and then you don't get the child. That's
no,
not
no,
right.
no.
There
That's
needs
not.
some
That's
law.
not what you didn't let me
Well,
finish, Your
yes, you
Honor.
just said that, Mr.
No, 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 no.
Fields.
Because you didn't let me finish. Because she started talking, and then you
Okay,
started.
go ahead and say what you meant
So,
then.
so what I offered her, I said, if you're that stressed out, just give me the full custody. We'll still keep our agreement as far as in keeping the
No.
child, but he'll be technically under my care. So whatever you feel like the financial burden that's on you will be off of your shoulders. You still have your child just as much. I offered that to her.
No, you didn't.
I didn't offer.
You said
Okay.
I can visit him. You didn't say I can get him. You said you can come to my house and visit him. Darius, don't lie. You after
Okay,
the last
I'm
tour,
not entertaining a change of custody or what